on whether the war in Afghanistan is wrong or correct. That's the decision, political decision of the leadership of this country. But as an ordinary person, a person who experienced war, I believe my CV, my short CV has been circulated to you. I fought the war. I fought the war. My family experienced the war as any other Vietnamese family. I believe that in the long run, no country can win a war in another country. Our own country has experienced it. Other countries has experienced it. Think of Afghanistan. I remember when I was there, I talked with many people, ordinary people. And many other ambassadors from the same mission looked at me. They were wondering what would be the purpose of my talks with those ordinary Afghans at the hotel, the attendants of the hotel, and outside the hotel. Well, I had very simple purpose: to understand the true feelings and thought of the Afghans about the war, about the blight. And I also learned from the Russian ambassador attending that mission that 80% of buildings in Kabul were constructed by the Soviets. A lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of efforts, a lot of contributions, and a lot of sacrifices of the Soviet people for Afghanistan. But 30 years after the occupation, the Soviet occupation there, Afghans are still criticizing the Soviets for the occupation because they are foreigners. I'm just telling what I heard from them. I'm not criticizing the Soviets. I'm not criticizing the Americans now in Afghanistan. But let me repeat my personal thought and belief. No country, however big, however powerful, can win in the long run a country, another country. You can invade, you can occupy it for some time only. If you really want to help another nation, don't think of military assistance. Don't think of military occupation as a means of assistance.
Before I ask you some more political questions, because you're becoming too serious, so we need to lighten the subject. Let's talk about food. You are a great producer of shrimp and a great exporter of shrimp. How important is shrimp fishing for Vietnam? And what is the effect of the international trade rules, particularly subsidies and tariffs, on Vietnamese export of shrimp?
Well, before I talk about shrimp, actually you talk about food first. And at this time of the day, food is extremely important, more important than other times of the day. But let me remind you of one thing, Ambassador Kamal. Only about 22, 23 years ago, Vietnam was a net importer of food. Not only food, almost all other consumer goods. And let me tell you a joke. Well, by the way, Vietnamese do like joke a lot. And even in the hardest times, we still like to joke a lot. And this is a joke that we have had so far. I always have this joke in my mind when we talk about our past, the time of being net importer of food. This is a joke about an exchange of telegrams. That time there was no fax, no mobile phone, nothing, no internet, but telegrams between Hanoi and Moscow. From Hanoi, food shortage, send food. You know, because telegram language is very concise. So from Hanoi, food shortage, send food. From Moscow, no food, tighten belts. From Hanoi, send belts. We didn't have anything. But after 20 plus years, from being a net importer of food, Vietnam now is the world's second largest exporter of rice, second only to Thailand. Last year, no, the year before, we were the third after Thailand and India, now second after Thailand. We are also the largest producer of cashew nuts. Vietnamese cashew nut output accounts for 1/3 of the world total.
Oh, really?
We are also the second largest producer of black pepper. We are the third largest producer of rubber. We are also the second largest producer of coffee, only after Brazil. And the Brazilians are looking at us with a mixed feeling. That's it. And among the main exports we are doing, shrimp. That's very true. Shrimp first came out as a food for us. Then a hard currency income source for us. Very, very important. And in the Mekong Delta area, region, we have a lot of shrimp. And to you, it may sound funny. Even now, some midland provinces in Vietnam also start to dig ponds to raise shrimps. So you see how popular it is in our country. And by popularity, I also mean important to our life.
I have to open this at some stage to questions, but before that, can I again ask you a question which is difficult?
Don't do it, please.
If you were to name 3 good points about Vietnam, about Vietnamese people, about Vietnam, about Vietnamese society, 3 good things that you would like people to remember, what would be those 3 good things? My next question is going to be 3 bad things. So,
wow. What if I can come up with only 2?
we'll give you we'll put a red mark against your name.
That's tough then. The first thing, when I think of as good of the Vietnamese people and land, is its war experience. And the first thing that comes to my mind as bad thing of the Vietnamese people and land is war experience again. When I say it's good, I mean through the war, we have grown up. When you experience hard time, tough times, you seem to be hardened. You seem to grow up faster. You seem to be more confident. And you seem to treasure more peace that you have. And not only peace, everything else you have. Because